Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Anman, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Morning.
Good morning. And Mike is here.
He is.
He is. And Gal is here. And Gal is here. And he's muted. Isn't he? But here, I'll show you. He's here. There.
He's on the phone.
Okay.
International finance.
Our number is 919. Nick just came back about 3 o'clock in the morning from CPAC, so he's probably sleeping. May show up, but he needs his sleep. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
Telestream?
Telestream.
That's it.
Yep, it's Telestream.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. What was going on?
I don't know, disconnected, reconnected. Everything.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that works.
When in doubt, restart, right?
You were audio compromised.
Challenge.
That's it.
50 years ago, you would hit it on the side and it'll start working.
Hey, we had a TV when I was a kid that
Yep.
every once in a while the picture would go out and you go over and just smack it would come back on again.
Yep.
And that went like that for like 10 years.
And that's when they say they don't make them that way anymore.
No. Oh, this television, if Mike might remember this name, Dumont. It was a Dumont. Dumont was actually its own network for a while, and they produced their own televisions. Crazy.
But Spence, remember that big APC UPS that I snagged from Nortel?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the one that was like 200 pounds?
200 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, it's been sitting on the porch. And suddenly I heard kind of beeping, like more like a wristwatch beep. And I couldn't figure out where it's coming from. And it turned out that was it. It wasn't the beep like I'm out of power. It was a different beep. So I pressed the button and went out, plugged it in. It had one light. So I left it plugged in. The next morning, one light. So I took it out and I put it on the bench and opened it. One battery was bad out of the 4. So I replaced it and put it back, and it charged. I unplugged it, plugged it back in. It's showing just one light. So Tuesday I called Schneider Electric, who owns and builds the APCs, and got to talk with a guy at tech support, because I was reading about resetting and all kind of things that didn't make any sense, and I couldn't find.
Did they have to go out and find somebody who was retired?
Well, no, listen to that. So I said, and I can't find any documents on it. It's a 2200-net. So he said, let me find out. So he comes back and he said, how long did you have it? I said, I don't know, 10 years, 12 years, something like that. And he said, well, this unit is 22 years old, according to the serial number. And if you got it to work that long, you're lucky. Because by now, parts in it start to fail and all that. So there's no way of telling what is wrong. So I said, "Oh well, okay." And
Amnon, you know what's wrong. The components are all going, I'm so old, leave me
well,
alone.
I mean, look, we have what's his name, Paul Underwood in the chat. I bought a UPS, that big one, the big square one, from Paul. Oh, geez, I don't know how many years ago. It was I think right after Fran. That thing is still working. Knock on wood. I mean, it's still, the batteries are outside in a box because I've got 2 big car batteries out there, and it's working. This one, I plugged it in after I talked to the guy, and everything is fine. But I tried it last night, so it doesn't always come. If it's plugged in, everything is fine. It'll stay on and work, and you unplug it, and it goes on power. You plug it in, and it goes down to 4 lights and 3 lights. So it's okay. It's operating. But if you unplug it and turn it off, to turn it back on, there is no rhyme or reason. You have to press that button and plug it in and press the other button and wait until you have all the light. So I mean, it's very usable, but it's very temperamental. And like you say, components can go bad. I agree. But it was weird. I say it's 22 years old. So
Hey, I have
Well,
stuff, tools in my garage that are, I mean, they're not fancy
well,
tools. Like an
too, yeah.
analyzer
Yeah.
still works.
Mike,
40
were you
years
going to
old.
say something?
I
No.
was saying it's old enough to drink.
Well, that's the end. That's why it's going bad now. It's starting to
Well,
dip
I
into
mean,
the parts.
I had some weird situations with UPSs this week. Also, the UPS that's in the living room, the power went, the TV went out, and Kathy says, "Look, it's been happening a few times now." And I'm looking, the TV's out, but the cable box is out, and the radio is out, and the light is out. Everything is out. So I said, "Oh, okay, well, that's the UPS." And I get close and touch it, and it's hot. So I unplug it, I unplug everything from it, plug it into a strip, put it on the bench. Had a hard time getting the batteries out. I mean, they were swollen. And some of the shell, the box of, and it's a cyber power. And so it's white and turned kind of brownish. But I said, nah, I'm not going to use it. So I called them because when I bought it, again, years and years ago, it was lifetime, right? Well, not so much. I talked to the guy there and he said, no, we don't have that anymore. I said, but when I bought it, it was like that. And he says, no, we can't replace it. This is really old. He said, but if it got hot, then it's only the batteries, because that's what would happen. So if you're handy and you check the voltage, the wires that go into the batteries, and you have 26, 28 volts, then you're okay. So I checked it right while I was talking with him, and I said, it's going between 28, 26, and 18, back and forth. He said, yeah, if there's no batteries, it pulsates. So I said, so you really think that if I put new batteries in there, everything will be fine? He said, oh, yeah. Oh, he's right. I took 2 batteries out of the cabinet, put it in there, plugged it in, left it on all day, touched it, no hot, nothing, and everything is working. So he's right. And those batteries were in there for God knows how long.
And Amnon, it's such an indication of who you are that you have spare batteries in a cabinet.
Well, I ran out, so I ordered another 8.
Yeah.
Anyway, So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. What is it, Gal?
No, yeah. The batteries in the cabinet. Yeah, that
Uh,
is. I
yeah.
agree with Spence on this.
All right. I
Okay.
what?
What was that?
Yeah, what
That
was
was
that?
that was my Uma saying that the garage door just opened.
Oh,
Okay.
That's when I'm home. It has geofencing where it detects whether our phones are here or not in the house, and it automatically changes the mode of the system if we're home. So if we're home, I don't get alerts on my phone, but I do get the base unit will talk like an alarm system to say back door is open.
Hmm.
Yeah. If anybody's, I love the system because I don't want monitoring and I don't want false positives. Pam is terrified of
false
having it go off
negatives.
in
You
the
mean?
middle of the night. The UMA telephone uh, TA adapter works on Desit wireless, and it is just a byproduct of the system. I have my phone number and UMA Premium, but I also get to monitor up to 32 sensors in the house. And it gives you an app on your phone where you can monitor the condition and can set different um, reactions to different changes of status, whether you're home or not home. And then if you get an alert on your phone saying your back door just opened and you're not home and nobody's supposed to be there, you can press the 911 button on your phone and it calls from your 911 location to the police. So I don't want to have actual responses where I have to pay after it gets two false positives.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I haven't invested anything security wise, but I have smart homes that connected with the Z-Wave network and everything. So
It
there's a lot
works.
of things that react, and the nice thing is that I log everything now. So I get it's all logged right now into a cloud system. I'm later gonna just log it into a database, and then I can do analysis. A plug that I can put a plug to measure power consumption, for example, and it'll give me the history of the power consumption on that plug.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
I just went through an experience. I had purchased some standalone wireless surveillance cameras for
Yeah,
my daughter for her house. And the indoor one was very straightforward, installed it. I had some trouble installing these because of the different methods they use to connect them to the Wi-Fi, but I eventually got it sorted out. So I had these two outdoor cameras, and but wireless is a misnomer. Unless it's battery powered, you got to provide power to it.
right.
And the ones I've installed prior to this, I've installed a couple of systems that are voice, what do you call it? Power over Ethernet.
Yeah.
Back to a central NVR. And that's what I have now in my house. And it was pretty easy because I have a relatively open attic and I ran wires out to the corners of the house. But in this case, it was very difficult for me to run any wires through the attic. And the cords they gave you have a built-in molded transformer on the end. It is just 5 volts USB that powers it. But without buying extension cables and adapters and all this other stuff and having to put power in the attic, I decided to run some external conduit off of the outdoor power outlets to power the cameras. And it worked. It works great. It's just that it was a lot busier than I intended. So I would consider, if I was going to do outdoor video surveillance, I would stay with a wired system because you're going to wire it anyway.
Yep.
And the cables that come with the systems that are wired are generally a tougher cable meant to be manipulated. Whether it's Amnon, you have the kind
I
that power and
well,
signal go across the
all
same.
all of them take power and video. They have a BNC for the video, and they have a what do you call it? Not
Power
a
injector.
no. What do you call the one the connector with the hole in the middle? The standard power.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
But
Um,
the way it
but
gets power to the camera is
but the thing
it's across the same cable.
Yeah, that's because you can get what they call a Siamese cable. A Siamese cable for cameras is one wire. It looks like a power, like a two conductor, like a desktop lamp, but it's actually one side is coax and the other side is a pair of wires. And it has the connectors on both sides. But it it's not very good. It's not a very good wire to go if you go long. And I have it around the house and I had to go really long distance. So it was a lot cheaper to get the uh what do you call it? What do you call them? Those adapters. It'll take you from BNC to just
Balins.
Balins. Yeah, Balins. So I bought those, and all I use is Cat 5. So the thing that gives you is you can bring in 2 cameras on one wire, on one run. So you have 2 videos and 2 powers. In one case that it's not too far from the house, I'm actually bringing 3 cameras on one wire because it's 3 videos and 1 power. Instead of having, I think, 500 milliamps, I have a 2 amp power supply, and it's enough for all the cameras, and it brings them all in. So you can do with a wired one, you are a lot more flexible. Now, even with wired, you can get systems like from Samsung or whatever that are wired, not wireless, but they have uh, call it proprietary cables, but they do have uh, RJ45 on both sides.
So you can run it across a structured wiring system, which is nice.
You can run it, but I mean the wiring is not straight through. I mean you really have to figure out how to wire it if you want to put an extension. But the wire itself, I mean, it comes with like 240 feet and 260 feet and 400 feet. So you can uh, run it. The problem with those pre-made wires is if you are trying to put a little bitty hole to
Right.
stick in an RJ45, I mean a Cat 5 wire, you can't do it here because you have an RJ45 connector at the end. You have to make a big hole in order to get it in.
What I did here,
So,
th this is power over Ethernet, so it's a similar situation. There's
uh
proprietary cables.
mhm,
There is a proprietary cable. They gave you a 30-foot, 60-foot, 90-foot,
yeah,
and it's a RJ45 on the NVR side, which goes into the switch and
and
provides power over Ethernet, and then it's got a micro USB on the other side that plugs into the camera.
okay,
So that's the proprietary side. But what I did to get it from my office is on the second floor, and the wall behind my main desk goes into my stairwell going up into the attic. So what I did was I actually made a very short patch panel
mhm,
where I have 4 RJ45 receptacles on one side of the wall and 4 on the other side of the wall. So I run jumpers from the NVR, which is sitting on my desk, short jumpers, like 4 feet long, into this patch panel. And on the other side of the wall plugs into the proprietary cable, which goes up into the attic and is distributed. I love the idea of the power over Ethernet or your proprietary system because you can have a straight through cable in the middle of it.
right.
Yeah. You don't have to wire that special because the
Yeah,
proprietary cable on either side handles it.
if it's standard power over Ethernet, then you can just make
Yeah. Because
yeah,
all I was giving it was a structured way to go through where it's
right.
exactly the same on both sides. So yeah.
Yep.
I've had customers ask me to install wireless cameras for them on the outside of the house, and I say no.
Yeah, I mean, this is so misleading. Wireless camera. There's nothing wireless about it other than the actual video because you have to wire it.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to, but it's
Well, if you want,
you're gonna need to replace the batteries.
yeah, if
It's
you
as
want,
simple as
like,
that.
Yeah,
what,
I
what
mean,
is the Netgear system has it's set up as motion detecting.
yeah,
So
that's
it
The
only
different.
Arlo one,
Arlo,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
I
And
mean,
that's nice. But
now,
what
now,
if it's in a busy spot? You have to go in and then customize it so it doesn't trigger off
right.
of certain areas,
Yeah.
and you're still going to use battery that way. It saves some battery, but
I don't get the Arlo system. I mean, the the system starts at around $300 or something like that.
yeah, it's
You
expensive.
you put it outside. You'll put it somewhere you want to reach it because you're going to need to charge it, right? So
Yeah.
that means that if somebody notices it and does want to do harm, all they need to do is just take the camera. It's like reach out, take it. That's it. It's yours. I
That's
don't get
why,
that system. I don't get that system.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was, like I said, I was lucky. I have an attic, a walk-up attic that you can stand up in. It's big enough that you can store stuff up there, which is unfortunate because it's filled with crap. But the idea is I could get to all four corners of the main roof. I had to lay down on the floor, but I could get to it. So I could run the cables, staple it up there on the joists, and everything is nice and neat. But in situations like my daughter's house, I went up in the attic to look, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get to that, to the where the soffits are from inside without laying on the ground, like stretching out and reaching into this tiny little space
Yeah.
on top of a piece of plywood. And it's like, nope, not doing it. No.
I ran all the Cat 5 on the outside, right under the soffit, just stapled it. And once you paint, I mean, in the first couple of years, it you could see it, but now you can't even see it because it was painted over,
Covered
and
up. That's so many layers of paint you can't
it's
see it.
fine now. It's and it's there. And the nice thing is, if you are not going to use it for multiple, even if you use it for two, you still, if something happens to one pair sometime, you can always substitute and use another pair for it. Uh, I never had to do it, but it's just the thought that if I had to do it, I put two cameras on one power supply and use another pair if something happens. But it's if you're thinking about cameras, it's a lot. It's going to cost more to put it in when it's wired. Well, I don't know because you still have to run wiring, and it's harder to find access to power in the attic or somewhere, and you
Yeah.
need to put it high, just like Gal said. You don't put it somewhere where somebody can just reach and take it. You need
Or
to
hit it,
put it,
or hit it with something to disable it.
yeah. You need to put it higher up.
In some cases, you just don't have any choice. But
Right. I mean, it's look, if somebody wants to, I was thinking about it many a times. Really, if I was going to go to do something on an property that had cameras on it, I would have to go, but again, you see who's doing it though. But if you point a flashlight at the camera, that camera
yeah,
doesn't see anything
yeah.
anymore.
Or
It's
laser,
being blind.
laser pointer.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know about laser, but I mean, I'm saying just a flashlight, and
If it
that's
was
it.
me, I would come up with a clever disguise like this. Right?
Exactly.
Who's that? Who that?
It reminds me. I think it was the UK. They started installing traffic cameras all around the UK,
Yeah.
which were wireless. They were cellular.
Okay, that's a
So
different story. A city
no,
can
no,
do that.
yeah, but so the whole idea is that there's nothing you can do, and the moment I mean, even if you run down the pole, right? The moment somebody approaches it,
Yeah.
the camera,
Right.
and so there was one particular guy who would be dressed in full leather clothing, a motorcycle rider, and a helmet, and no identifying tags on his motorcycle, and he would drive to these cameras directly up front, light them on fire, and drive away. It was like a viral video series. So
Oh,
it was
boy.
like, you think you can stop everything, right? But you can't control us. It was like this, you know, do you remember the V for Vendetta movie? It's like something like this.
Not very smart.
I don't think it was ever caught.
They didn't teach cameras in urban planning, I guess.
Yeah.
919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype.
Or if you're,
I
won't get into names, or everybody will know what I'm talking about when you're trying to do a hoax and you see a camera, you have to make sure which direction the camera's pointing in. So your hoax can be recorded.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask you if the audio is okay.
You asked me what?
If the audio is okay.
Yeah, sounds fine.
All right. I keep on looking.
Screwing with it.
We read you 5 by 5.
Well, I mean, it's somebody. Somebody put a message in the chat. Check your video; it's too hot.
Whose video?
Check audio. I'm sorry.
I'm listening through the Hangout, not through the stream.
But you know, I'm looking, and it's not even touching yellows now. So I'm hoping that the recording is not going to be too low. But it's okay. All right. All right. Let's see. See what was going on this week. You know, this is kind of alarming, but I figured, you know, need to get into it. Computer jobs that are dropping in demand. .NET developer, Java developer, database administrator, web developer, just developer, system analyst, senior system engineer, front-end developer, senior Java developer, and senior system analyst. Apparently, there was a time when these jobs were really in high demand. Now they're saying that they are dropping. So if your kids is going into college, you may want to think about it. And there are different places around the net that show you what's in demand and what's not, and what's going to be in demand. But it's you know, I mean, database administrator, you know, web developer is dropping. What do you mean? I mean, people are still building websites and all. How come it's dropping?
It's not dropping, it's shifting. The titles have changed. The what a web developer would have done 5 years ago, today 3 different people do it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not like, so the title is diminishing, but the task is still there.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And it has become more complex. So
have you heard
front end developer, it just became a UX designer or something like that. It's like the titles have changed.
Have you heard there's a commercial every once in a while on the radio here in Raleigh for a very specific technical job that is development, it's management, it's project management. It is so specific and so detailed that does this person even exist? What title would you give this person? Literally, they did so many. It has to know Agile Scrum, has to know like several different protocols, has to have experience with managing groups of people. The person, in my opinion, it's like really hard to find that person. So the name, what would you call that person exactly, Golly? It could be, you can't say he's a front end developer anymore. He's a jack of all trades that has to know everything.
Oh,
Yeah. I think that's part of the being smart. Is part of it is getting yourself so invested inside the business that everybody thinks twice when they want to fire you.
bottom line is, if you want to have a job that's not going to go away, become a waiter or waitress. That will stay there.
Hey, you can make serious money if you work at the right place.
Yeah, but I mean, the job will stay there. Here's something that I mean, I don't understand it. There were a couple of stories about Elon Musk. First of all, they're talking about how successful was that rocket launch.
Oh, the new crew capsule
the
one that just went up. Yeah.
SpaceX. I read a couple of articles. None of them mentioned his name. Then you read about some attorney general is going after him because he said in a tweet that Tesla is going to produce 500,000 cars for Europe, for the EU this year. And that's a lie. Well, I mean, first, I don't understand why can't they give credit where credit is due? And we know it. The media is like that. But the other thing is, he said 500. Let's say that he lied about what the company is going to do. Let's say that he overestimated. Let's say that he is exaggerating. This is a reason for an attorney general to go after you and to make big waves that, oh, he lied. It's business.
If he's manipulating stock prices, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, it's up to, as far as I'm concerned, it's up to you, the stock buyer, trader, whatever, to say, well, nah, this is bullshit. I'm not going to buy just because he said so. In business, every CEO is talking the company up and up and up. I mean, it's business. I mean, if I come, I don't have any stock in the in
Well,
that
there's being positive about your situation, and then there's overrepresentation, and overrepresentation with inside information or doing something that is going to affect your stock price that you and your close buddies are going to benefit from that nobody else will. Then you're talking about illegal. So you can go to jail for that, stock manipulation.
Well, I don't know that's Mike. What is your take? Mike,
What is my take on what?
no, on somebody like Elon Musk exaggerating what Tesla is going to be doing this year. I mean,
Well, he can say anything he wants to.
I know that's what I'm saying. I mean,
He can run for politics, and every word coming out of his mouth is a lie.
Is a lie. I mean, yeah, you can make fun of the guy and say, "Oh, but what? He doesn't even know his own company." But for Attorney General to go after him because
he's taking government money, there may be some problems there.
Well,
yes.
I don't think he was exaggerating though. I mean, he issued it started with a tweet.
It's a tweet, yeah.
Right. Tesla made 0 cars in 2011,
right?
But will make around 500K in 2019.
Yeah.
And later, he posts a correction, right? And listen to this correction.
Okay.
Meant to say annualized production rate at the end of 2019, probably around 500K, i.e. 10K's cars week. So 10,000 cars a week. Deliveries for years still estimated to be around 400K. So they're not going to reach the 500K they were planning for 2019, because they were planning this in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, right? But they are now making 10,000 cars a week. So yeah, he got overexcited, but I don't think his stock owners are going to be cross about it. I don't know why the Attorney General is busting his balls.
It all depends on who you piss off.
Yeah.
Right? If you tweak somebody that is in a position of power and you got another bunch of people behind them, if it benefits a lot of people and everybody's happy, then nobody brings it up. But if something happens, it's just the way, it's human nature. I mean, it's just you're gonna go after the stuff that you want to go after. That's all. But having worked for companies that have dramatically overrepresented their financial position in the past and gone bankrupt over several years, there's a pattern, and I see the pattern. I've worked with people that promote the pattern. Oh, you need to say this. Oh, you need to say that, even though it's not true. And you can only do that for so long before it comes out and bites you in the ass.
Well, it's going to bite you in the ass just by the mere fact that people are not going to believe you anymore. But is that are you breaking the law? I don't know about that.
It depends. It depends.
Yeah, like Mike said, if there's
you could be.
If there's government money, yeah, I understand. But
most of this is related to stockholders and the board of directors.
So here's another one here. Speaking to investors, Apple CEO Tim Cook said he was never been more optimistic about where the company is today and where it's heading.
And he must be in serious trouble to make a statement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He said the company's
nothing to see here.
the company's planting seeds and rolling the dice on future products that will just blow you away. He's talking to investors now.
Yeah, because their stock price hasn't been growing the way it used to.
But wait a second.
Products have been so-so.
Yeah, I understand. But nobody's going after him.
Well, because if you're stupid enough to believe what he tells you, you deserve what you get.
In my opinion, any CEO, if you're buying stock and you listen to what the CEO is saying and you're buying on that word, then you deserve what you get. I mean, there's more than just, the CEO said that, so that's why I bought. But he keeps on going. Cook went on to say that Apple's eventual goal is to be able to reduce the price of the 2018 Retina MacBooks Air, which currently starts at $1,200, in reference to Apple Watch and the AirPods. He said, there is a long, great roadmap of fantastic products on the horizon. On the topic of services, he said that Apple is well on its way toward meeting the goal it is set in 2016, which was to double its $25 billion revenue by 2020. Now,
oh boy,
he's talking to investors, speaking to investors, and he's saying that. Now, the Apple fanboys are probably going to go out and say, "Oh yeah, things are going to be okay. Let's start buying." Now, isn't that, this is being praised?
Again, Amnon, it all depends.
Yeah.
You have people now, if you find out that they're doing things in the background to move revenue around to make the books look better, depends on
that's a different
story. Is generally accepted accounting practices, which are what most companies are rated by in the United States and Canada.
That's a different story. Different story. You start changing the books and you start manufacturing lies that are actually recorded. That's a different story. But to talk and to just tell people, hey, yeah, we're gonna do great. That's his job, to go there and get people to.
The law doesn't pay a lot of attention to what's called puffery.
No.
Now, if he starts reporting them that as official
Right,
numbers
that's
under
different story.
GAP principles, he goes to
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah.
And
And
that's where having lived through Nortel, I just watched a video about like a recap of what happened. They only settled the lawsuit with their bankruptcy in 2017. That's from 2009 when the company was finally liquidated, sold off different sections of it. So it's incredible. Nobody had to give their bonuses back. Nobody went to jail. And it was outright fraud, reapplying revenue from prior businesses being shut down, injecting it into that particular quarter to make their number. No. Oh well.
no, I'm reading
Sorry if I'm cynical.
Tish, and she's right. Yeah. All right, sorry, Tish. You saw what happened in what is happening in New York now? Amazon thing. Everybody's backpedaling, paddling.
What do you mean backpedaling? Who's backpedaling?
Well, I mean,
Cuomo.
the I guess people that now they're trying to beg Amazon to come back to reconsider.
No, AOC says no.
Oh, she's saying no.
She is the voice of the Democrat Party.
Well, yeah.
Voice and face.
That could be something that's really going to come back to bite her.
I doubt it.
I mean, the governor is begging. Some of the politicians, please,
I can't figure out why Amazon would want to go get in that mess. Look at the cost of operation. Look at what they have to pay versus what they get. I mean, if they said that it is strategically, real estate wise, it is strategically, there are benefits from locating there geographically that offset these ridiculous costs, then so be it. But I don't see it. I mean, you think about parking and traffic and unions and golly, who are the heck, horrible schools and the city tax that you have to pay. I don't understand why they want to go there.
Gentrification. Did you see the statement that there was a representative from Virginia made, because they were saying, well, now that Amazon has left New York, what is your opinion about trying to attract that for this is just outside the DC area? We don't want it. And they were saying, what do you mean you don't want it? You don't want those high paying jobs that'll be 110 plus? Or, yeah, we're already too crowded. People already make too much money. It's destroying our community. We don't have enough transportation. We don't have this. We don't have that. And he came right out and said, we don't want it.
That's a good politician, because that may or may not be 100% accurate, but by golly, at some point, enough is enough. We've got enough places that they can go out and develop that they don't have to overburden it. You go look at downtown Raleigh and look at how when they'll tear down, you got no parking, you drive around in circles, and you have to pay McLaurin parking or a ridiculous amount of money to park for 30 minutes. You get your car towed or ticketed if you're late 5 minutes. I mean, this is the way it is to do business downtown. So they get an old building, they tear it down. What do? They build a bigger one where that one was.
We're reeling from development in Apex that is to the point now from just the infrastructure can't handle it. And we're still building the highest density personally owned property you can have is a townhouse, and they're everywhere.
There is no way I would live in Apex.
It was great when I moved here when there were 4,000 people, and now that it's 60,000, it's just not the same.
That progress.
Yeah, well, the progress was great until about 10 years ago, and then they were just I mean, I love having Costco close by, but now they're having to re-engineer US 64 to the point where it's going to make it remind me of Long Island, where I left from, that I just don't want to go there. I had 3/4 of a mile from my house.
This too shall pass.
Don't count on it.
So who's flying for business? Got to listen to that.
I'm on the air right now. I'm not.
The U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration have issued new rules designed to protect air passengers from the potential dangers of lithium-ion batteries. The new Transportation Department rules comes after Congress last year directed the agency to adopt the new rules. The new restrictions doesn't apply to passenger or crew bringing electronics aboard aircraft. This rule will strengthen safety for the traveling public by addressing the unique challenges lithium batteries pose in transportation. U.S. Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao said in a statement, in the past couple of years, the use of lithium-ion batteries has been linked to fires and spewing smoke in a slew of products, including Samsung's now canceled Galaxy Note 7, hoverboards, and Boeing 787 Dreamliner. So there are new rules about bringing lithium-ion batteries on board in the storage compartment, they're saying. But I thought if you have a laptop, you have to take it with you, right? You don't put it in. I don't fly with don't fly at all anymore, but you you're supposed to take the laptop with you, right? Or you put it in the
Well,
storage in the
if
belly.
you trust the transportation
The airline, you mean?
people to not break your laptop, there's
Oh,
nothing that prevents you from putting it in the luggage.
okay.
But that thing is being thrown around, and it's not handled carefully. So most people just take it on board.
Oh,
I mean, it
I would
says that
never let it out of my sight.
Yeah.
it says that the new restriction doesn't apply to passengers or crew bringing electronics aboard the aircraft.
Right, because that was already established, I think.
So, I mean, you can still bring. I mean, what happens if your device have lithium-ion batteries?
All your devices have
Right,
lithium-ion batteries.
right.
You can board with them to the airplane. That's not a problem. The problem is that under the extreme pressure and temperatures
Hmm.
in the luggage compartment, the batteries exploded and or caught fire.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what they want to prevent. They don't want to allow you to take on any battery in your luggage. That's all.
Yeah,
It's been that way for a while, but it was a directive from the airline. Now it's a directive from the authorities.
Yeah.
the especially suspect are those battery packs that people have, the extra charger packs, USB. They don't want those. They don't want anything that's got specific types of. What is it? Vaping now is suspect too. The batteries in vaping.
Yep.
I'm not happy with that. It's like any technology until it gets sorted out, and depending on who's building the charging circuitry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
All right,
I had a
Spence.
funny thing happen years ago traveling on business. I'm sitting in the plane and the door's about to close, and I get, Mr. Shoemaker, would you ring your call button, please? I'm like, uh-oh, what happened? And I had checked my luggage, and I had a portable or a electric razor in my
Hmm.
luggage, and apparently it started going off, buzzing when they were loading it. So they pulled it out. Oh my God. And I had to go outside and open it up and show them that it was my razor. So I was like, oh boy.
So, Spence, are you ready for specials?
In one moment, please.
Well, Spence, have you seen Fight Club?
Yes.
So that scene is like they learned about your scene, I think.
I guess. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Oops, what happened here? Sorry, it's just my screen did something unexpected. Here we go. Here we go. We're almost there. Now let me break this out and make it big enough to read. And okay. All right. So Computers 2K Now specials for March 3rd, 2019. And so I decided that each week I'm going to put everybody's face somewhere in the first page. So sometimes it'll be hard to
That's
find that person's face.
is that going to be
But
a riddle? Like,
yeah, it could be. It depends. I mean, actually, when I built the presentation this morning, I have Mike's picture in the back of your picture on a screen in the background, and I thought, oh, it'll be hard to see, but it actually isn't hard to see at all. So, oh well. The thing with the panda is actually a GIF, an animated GIF that's pretty funny. I had to freeze it in order to capture that
all right.
that scene. But all right, so starting with laptops at Best Buy, we've got a Ryzen 3 15.6-inch HP laptop for $459, which is 120 off. Office Depot has a Lenovo IdeaPad 15.6-inch with an AMD A6.
Stan?
And the only reason I mention this, yes, AMD still has the vulnerabilities out there in their processors. That's what Ryzen is, pretty much takes care of all that. But for the price, $249 for an entry level A6 laptop, $100 off. And Staples has an Acer Ryzen 3 15.6-inch for $309, 150 off.
The 459, it's set in the text on the link, it says AMD Ryzen 5.
Yes, the symbol on the top is wrong.
Okay, so it's a
Yeah,
Ryzen
I
5.
meant to say, yeah, I meant to put a star on that. I noticed that when I was going through that this morning. Their graphic was wrong. The description says Ryzen 5. So it's a good price for a 5. Desktop all-in-one, we've got a Lenovo 21.5-inch touchscreen all-in-one with a Pentium quad, 8 gig of memory for $249, $100 off. Office Depot has a Ryzen 7 Lenovo Idea Center desktop for $829, which is $220 off. And Staples has an HP all-in-one desktop. This is a Pentium quad. I don't remember the model series, but they keep developing this. They have them in the Pentium and they have them in what was the other brand name? Celeron they're still out there. But the new ones are quads. They're true quads. They're not dual core with virtual. So it's $369 for $80 off. Tablets, Best Buy has a Lenovo 10-inch Tab 4 for $179. It's kind of weird. This is the way their graphic looked. It said 179 minus 20 equals 159. So they must have been scrambling to get their ad out, because usually it's a little more professional than that. 32 gig tablet though for $159. Office Depot has a Core i3 convertible from Dell 14-inch 2-in-1 laptop. They really didn't have any tablets. They typically don't, at least not in the ad. But this was actually in the ad this week. $399, save $100. And Amnon, this is for you. We have a sale on Powerball all-in-one dishwasher detergent tablets for $609. That's at Staples.
That's the best tablet deal you could find at Staples.
That's it. That's the cheapest ones they had. Actually, I didn't have a lot of time. I think they might have had an iPad on sale, but have to add a little levity here. Okay, networking. Now, this is an unusual product from Asus. This is an AC2600 dual band router, but they call it the Blue Tunnel because it actually has a hole in the middle of it. You turn it to the side and look through it. It's kind of it almost looks like it was developed by Dyson or something here.
I was just going to say.
But for an AC2600 router for $149, that's a pretty good price. It's $30 off. We have a wireless. I'm sorry, it's under networking. It's not wireless. It is a Western Digital MyCloud 4 terabyte for $179, which is $20 off. I included it in networking. Usually I put it in storage, but this again is a very useful device. It's probably not the fastest NAS you could install, but it certainly is one of the friendliest as far as being able to run either iOS or Android applications to back up, Mac for You can use it as a time machine drive. You can use it as a Windows backup system. You can use it just as a straight local drive. I mean, it's just very, very versatile. Has two USB ports on it. I have the 2 terabyte version of it. I've been using it for years. It's been working pretty good. Office Depot, $179.20 off. Staples has the Netgear Nighthawk X6 R8000 router, 100 NAS. That NAS means it's got the USB ports in it, but it is a tri-band router, so it does a very good job with managing multimedia streaming. But again, you have to have the appropriate adapter on the other side on the device that's connecting. So keep that in mind. It's $249, $30 off. Storage. We have at Best Buy a 2 terabyte ruggedized Lacey external USB drive, which is Type C. Keep that in mind. It is a Type C USB for $109, save $10. Office Depot has a 2 terabyte Western Digital Ultra portable for $89.99. And Staples has a Samsung 500 gig SATA solid state drive for $79. It's just $20 off. Accessories. We have and I was hoping that Nick would be here to comment on this because this is definitely a gamer mechanical keyboard. I did spent some time this morning reading about this. So $104. It seems expensive, 45 off. But this is like the very upscale keyboard. This is rated, each button, each click is rated at 70 million pushes. Think about that, 70 million pushes, right? 300 hours on the battery. KS is keystrokes, by the way, on there. And Bluetooth connectivity, so it can be used across a little bit larger distances. This is what gamers use. This is why they make these extremely durable, high usage keyboards.
When gamers are concerned, usually with keyboards, they go with 100% wired. This is a wireless gaming.
Yeah, and that's why it's Bluetooth and it's got high throughput. It's got special built-in accelerators and all that stuff to make the wireless work like it was a wired keyboard. So whether it does that or not, if you go to their site and look at the video, and they show what's built into this and why it's accommodating to gamers, it's got a specific chipset type, which is high throughput.
Interesting.
So it's not an accelerator. Office Depot has a VTech convertible Office Desit wireless headset. And I put this out in accessories because if you're in a home office, there's nothing better than having a lightweight headset that you can walk around your entire house with and accept calls and talk on the beyond. I have one of these. I haven't used it in a long time. I've got a Plantronics one that was very nice because it could hit a button and it would go from USB connectivity to telephone connectivity with just a touch of a button. And excellent for walking around the house and working at the same time, not worry about you could receive calls and all that, put things on hold, just excellent. So VTech, good brand out there. It's a $99.95, $50 off. And here's one of those traditional wired keyboards, Gal, but this is mainly because it's illuminated. This is not billed as a gamer's keyboard, but Logitech K740 illuminated wired keyboard for $59.99. I guess it's wired mainly because you need the USB power because the lighting beyond all the time would kill the batteries pretty quick.
No,
depends.
And that'll be good in that that control room where or a radar room.
Yeah, where it's dark.
Yeah.
Do you remember the keyboard they had out years ago where each key was an individual screen?
Yeah, I was talking about it not too long ago. It's still, well, they don't produce it anymore. A Russian art designer, like an art technology designer. What was its name? It was cool as hell.
Yes.
Yeah. Each one was a separate OLED screen. You can make
very expensive
keyboard. Yeah, $2,000 something.
Yes.
Yeah.
we had fun when years ago in the early days of PCs, and we were all working on IBM XTs in the office, and a lot of them loaded with floppy drives. They might have had a hard disk or maybe not, but we would use them mainly for network connectivity. But if you came in early, I had a special boot disk that I would boot that would remap the keyboard that the person was not aware of. It would come up and they would load it and they would hit the L key and it would put a K, and they would hit the K key and it would put an L. And then it would go, if they rebooted, it went away, obviously, because it would change the mapping that I had done. Oh, it was so much fun. Mess with people's heads.
Optimus.
Monitors. We have at Best Buy an Acer 23-inch monitor for $109, 50 off. Office Depot has an Acer 24-inch monitor for $99, 20 off. And Staples has a Dell 24-inch for $139, 60 off. Each of those is going to have different feature functions, connectivity. So look at the different ratings on them. Look at the functionality and connectivity that you need for your monitor. But the cheapest one out there today, I think, is the $99 one at Office Depot. Printers and scanners, entry-level HP OfficeJet 8330, wireless all-in-one for $49, half price, $50 off. Office Depot has an HP LaserJet Pro for $99, which is $20 off. And Staples has a Canon Image Class USB wireless inkjet printer for $150. Wait a second now. I don't remember if this is inkjet or laser. At $229, it probably was a laser. I'm going to guess. I don't know that Canon makes business class. Image class, I believe, is a laser. For $159, 70 off. Home automation. We have TP-Link indoor HD Wi-Fi security camera for $69 at Best Buy, 20 off. Office Depot has the TP-Link dimming smart bulbs on sale. These are the single function, they're not multiple color. I think these are cool white or warm white. You have to take a look. They have different types. $19, save $5. And then this other device here, I wouldn't call this necessarily home automation because it is a single function, single remote. It cannot be used with Alexa or Google Home or whatever. But it is an interesting device nonetheless because it can handle grounded plugs with higher wattages than most of these types of remote outlets. Single function, like if you have a heater or something you want to turn on and off, this is the one you want to look at. $33.29 at Staples. This is not a weekly ad thing. It's just something I found. Okay, but wait, there's more. Staples has a Sproct Zoom Stereo 3.5 USB combo headset for $29.99, save $10. This has got a boom mic as well. The star next to this next product at Staples for the Epson Workforce ES60W wireless portable scanner. This is a new one, some new features, but this will scan from Android and iOS devices. This is amazing. This is the first time I've seen this. This has a built-in battery. It will work off battery or will work off a wired connection. It has all kinds of OCR software that comes with Nuance, and it also has some other nice features as far as cropping and so on. Pretty fast compared. I have the older one, the ES30. This is much faster, double the throughput speed, and great product for $119. That's $40 off. The Epson Workforce ES60W. Also here, not necessarily a technical product, but certainly something useful in your office. This is a Real Space Magellan Performance electric table that has height adjustable with touch of a button. There's no crank to turn. There's no counterweighted system to raise a portion of your table. This is the whole thing up and down. $399, which is $100 off. Very useful if there's a lot out there saying that you should be standing more during the day. Amnon, this is for you. This is the most expensive computer I could find today, laptop, MSI 17.3-inch Core i7 gaming laptop for, well, a penny short of $3,000.
I'll take 2.
So, yeah, we'll get
Yeah.
more than you want to put them in your cabinet, right?
I want to put it in the
case.
cabinet, exactly.
Just like the batteries. Just
Yep.
have a couple in there. If it ever goes bad, you're all set.
Yep.
I mean, just look at the keyboard, how colorful the keyboard is. Very interesting. I think I'd
Yeah.
lose my mind working with that thing.
Well, I think you can program each key, but it's like 17-inch. It's a huge
Yeah,
laptop.
it's a big laptop.
It's a desktop replacement.
They need to send,
Yeah.
they need to send us this stuff to test. You know?
I agree. 1 inch.
Yeah, that's all. For a year. All right. Best Buy has a looked at this before. I actually had this on one of the holiday gift shows that we did, or gift lists. Nanoleaf light panels. Now, this is something that you install on the wall in your house, and you can do it in different patterns, and it works with different home audio systems. As it comes with a free Google Mini Chalk, and you can use it for mood lighting. You can use it to respond to sound and all that. $229. I have no idea if that's a good price, but it'll look cool. Office Depot has a Logitech G933 wireless gaming headset for $139, which is $60 off. Fry's has a 10 terabyte internal NAS, 3.5-inch internal NAS hard disk for $279.99, which is $40 off the regular price. Is this a good deal? I have no idea, but damn, that's a big drive.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Right now, I think for 170, I'll try to find the link in a moment. We got an external 10 terabyte. Friend of mine ordered 4, so
wow.
Yeah, we're waiting for them to come to see that we weren't knocked off. I'll try to find the link. I think it was one of the big guys, Best Buy or something like that.
10 terabyte. Now, I wonder if that is a true SATA drive or if it's a proprietary. Some of these external ones are proprietary.
I know that's what I'm fearing, but we'll see once we get them. I'll try to find the link.
What was the price?
Okay, Western Digital 10 terabytes Element Desktop USB 3, and it was, let's see. No, now it's the full price. I can't find it was B&H was selling them.
It was below 200?
Yes, it was below 200.
That's good.
Let's see if I can see we discussed the price.
All right, if you find it, let us know. Spence, keep going.
Yeah, no.
And also, Amnon Fry's has a great deal on 16 gig DC Comics collectible figure USB drives. So Wonder Woman, Batman, or Superman for $8.99. Was $12.99. Okay, Fry's has, as usual, they have good deals on UPSs. They have an APC 650 battery backup for $59, which is $15.99 off. I only mentioned this next thing because it's amazing how there's so much knockoff stuff out there for what they call action cameras, right? GoPro is great. GoPro is a wonderful, wonderful product. I have a knockoff camera. I paid a lot more than $26.99 for it. It was close to $100. It's still amazing. It's older, but the only thing weird about this, it's usually the form factor is close. It lags behind in development, but they come out with good features. The software is the only part that's a little wonky, and that is the menus might be written by someone where English isn't their first language, which makes it a little strange. But if you want to get an action camera, something that's waterproof to mess around with, it comes with accessories, comes with the waterproof case. I've actually used mine underwater. It worked great. I bought a second case where I drilled a hole in the side to put in a USB cable to keep it so that I could do time-lapse photography over 8 hours. I recorded going through the Panama Canal using that. I attached it to a point on the ship in the front with a suction cup and just let it rip for 8 hours. And this was that inexpensive camera. Works great. $26.99, and it's $16.99 with a promo code.
Hmm.
Wow. This next product, I don't really know if this works really good, but it sounds pretty cool. For $169, it's a dual dash cam. It's actually an add-on mirror that you put over your existing mirror or you replace it with. And it's got a forward-looking camera built into the mirror, and it also comes with a backup camera that you install in the back. And it's got night vision built in. It does recording. It's got a backup alarm. So very interesting. But it's it's $169, but it's $129 with a promo code. And then these next products, the two turntables. These are stark differences in price, but they both do USB recording. That can be very useful if you are converting an LP library to digital. I don't remember the name of the brand, the first company that came out with the USB turntables. I have one, and I have used it to take some old recordings and record them. And decent software. It came with pretty good software that did. It had a scratch and pop filter that worked pretty well, and I was happy with it. I don't play records on a regular basis. I just keep this for the utility of it. But look at the difference between the TIAC and the Sharp.
Well,
The
that's
TIAC, I would
because
say,
it's because it's a TIAC.
well, that, and it's probably a lot better construction. It's meant to be used on a regular basis. You're not gonna destroy the record by the crummy cartridge it might come with or something. But depending on what you want to use it for, here's a really nice higher end one. I'm sure there's more expensive ones. And then they've also got this Sharp one for $49, which is $30 off the regular price. Asus external USB DVD writer for $39. We've got a Western Digital 1 terabyte black drive that's one step up above the what I would call the low performance drives. But this is a 7,200 RPM, $59, $20 off the regular price. And we've got 3 different versions of USB 3 flash drives, thumb drives, 64 gig for $12.99, 128 gig for $25.99, and 256 gig for $54.99. So if you need it, it's here. Sometimes it's important to have, if you transfer, I wouldn't use this for long-term storage, but if you wanted to transfer a really big file, video files, for example, editing, that maybe you don't have a good network connection or you can't move it from machine to machine easily, you can put it onto one of these flash drives, move it over as basically as a utility. So, and that's it for Computers 2K Now specials for March 3rd, 2019.
Thank you very much, Spence.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I got the price for that 10 terabyte. It was 160.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean
Let us
the price.
let us know what you find out if you're gonna tear it open and look inside. Let us know.
Oh yeah. The
Wow.
plan is to put it as internal disk, so we'll see.
Well, I mean, really, for what you gonna use it, if you're gonna use it for what I think, it doesn't matter. USB 3 is fine, good enough, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's a case with 5 bays in it, right? And why add external power supply and stuff, right?
Yeah, I see.
And with buying 4 and putting them in a RAID, I mean, then like for redundancy and speed, so it's like not too bad for losing the warranty by opening the disk, right? So it's with a price like that.
Yeah. Yuppers. Let's see. Oh, another interesting thing about YouTube here. YouTube said last week that it will disable the ability for viewers to leave comments on most videos featuring minors, as it tries to contain the damage from a scandal involving child predators leaving coded sexual comments on the site. And there was something last week. I mean, 2 weeks ago, that some big guys pulled their advertising. Disney and remember who else? Because people were leaving comments, inappropriate comments on sites, on videos that featured minors.
Mhm.
So Netflix is trying to get more money. Every once in a while, we see Netflix test new plans in certain markets, and most of them involve price hikes. The same goes for the latest test that was spotted over in Italy, where the streaming giant is toying with a couple of different scenarios. First spotted by Italian language blog Smart World, the test suggests that Netflix is toying with the idea of either raising standard and premium subscription or increasing all of its prices across the board. Right now, the default monthly Netflix streaming prices for Italy and other countries in the EU are $7.99 or a little bit around the $9.1 base, $10.99 or 12.5 euros. One of the tests that Netflix is currently conducting proposes that base subscription stays the same, but the standard and premium plans go up to $12.99 from $10.99 or from $7.99 or $14.89, $14.8, $17.99 for the 12.5 and 20.5 instead of the 16.
Well, they have to
Yeah,
figure out a way that they can pay Michelle and
I mean, I don't
Barack
understand why
Obama all that money to be on the board.
why are they testing it over there and not? I guess there's a lot of people that are using it there. Maybe I don't know, but it's
And all these
interesting.
streaming services
Just
are
go up,
one of
go
the
up,
reasons.
go up. Yeah,
One of the reasons why VPNs have become so popular because of all these regional streaming services
Right.
that are not available when you
and there was an article that said that Netflix is losing millions and millions because of uh, piracy. And reading the article, the piracy was the fact that family members are sharing accounts. So they're saying, like instead of one person, 5 subscriptions, there's one subscription and 4 people are getting it for nothing. So that's how they are.
So basically, they're saying they're not losing money; they're just overcharging families, and they like they want to continue in doing
That's
it
one
more
way to put it.
efficiently.
Yeah, that's one
Yeah.
way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, what does the EULA say about connectivity for does it say one
It says that the person needs to reside in the same household.
yes.
So that's a family, right?
Yep.
But then so I mean, if you live in New York and I live in North Carolina and we both share the same account, right? And we have our own separate household, then yeah, we're cheating the system.
Right.
But they have no way of knowing that, because when they say reside in the same household, how is my son, who's going to go to college soon, right? Does he still reside in my household, right? I mean, he still gets his mail here. He's registered here. He's just in the dorms there throughout the year. He doesn't leave there. So why would he need a separate account?
Well,
Well, you know what? I can hear it now.
Exactly.
Netflix police.
Yep.
We come to inspect your property. Where's your son?
He's on a business trip.
Did you hear he's in jail? Why? He got Netflixed.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
all right. Here's something else that's kind of on the negative side as far as computers. Researchers have published the results of exploring how vulnerable Thunderbolt is to direct memory access attacks. And the answer is very. Be careful what you plug into that USB-C port. Yeah, the set of vulnerabilities has a name. It's called Thunderclap. Thunderbolt, which is available through USB-C ports on modern laptops, provide low-level direct memory access is at much higher privilege levels than regular universal serial bus. They're citing a paper published from a team of researchers from the University of Cambridge, Rice University, and SRI International. And it opens up laptops, desktops, and servers with Thunderbolt input-output ports and PCI Express connectors to attacks using malicious. Now, chances something is going to happen to you, I don't know. But it's just something that you need to be aware of. Just be aware of that thing. Because it is very possible that something will happen. I mean, something will happen sometime.
It sounds pretty scary, though.
Am I
You're
going to
dealing
throw?
with
Am I going to throw my? What? Say it again.
I was going to say, it sounds pretty scary. You're dealing with lightning and thunderbolt and all this stuff. It's like
Yeah. Well.
these technologies. It's not like it's they don't call the technology subtle connection or calm connection. It's lightning. It's thunderbolt.
Well.
Well, they
Scary.
want to feel like Thor, right? So,
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's not just Thunderbolt. Microsoft Edge browser contains a secret whitelist that lets Facebook run Adobe Flash code behind users' backs. I mean, here's all these big guys trying to kill Flash. And Microsoft is giving Facebook the ability to run Flash behind the user's back. The whitelist allows Facebook's Flash content to bypass Edge security features, such as the click-to-play policy that normally prevents websites from running Flash code without user approval beforehand. The whitelist isn't new. It existed in Edge before, and prior to February 2018, it included 58 entries, including domains and subdomains from Microsoft's main site, the MSN portal, music streaming service Deezer, Yahoo, and Chinese social network QQ. The list was narrowed down to only 2 Facebook domains, facebook.com and apps.facebook.com. Why? But that's how they play the game.
And it is
Why
a
not?
game.
The what?
And it
Why
is
not?
a game. Yeah.
Spence?
I was saying, and it is a game.
It is a game. And God, what are you saying?
Why not?
Why not? No. And I never knew that Comcast had mobile phone service, but apparently they do. A bad security decision by Comcast on the company's mobile phone service made it easier for attackers to port victims' cell phone numbers to different carriers. Wait for it. Comcast in 2017 launched Xfinity Mobile, a cellular service that uses the Verizon wireless network and Comcast Wi-Fi hotspots. Comcast has signed up 1.2 million mobile subscribers, but took a shortcut in the system that lets users switch from Comcast to other carriers. To port a phone line from Comcast to another wireless carrier, a customer needs to know his or her Comcast mobile account number. Carriers generally use PINs to verify that a customer seeking to port a number actually owns the number. So they have PINs. But Comcast reportedly set the PIN to 0000 for all its customers.
Oh, you
And
gotta be
and
kidding.
and there was apparently no way for customers to change it. Can you imagine? That means that an attacker who acquires a victim's Comcast account number could easily port the victim's phone number to another carrier. So it's just amazing.
Is Spectrum owned by Comcast?
Who?
Spectrum, Charter Spectrum. Are they owned by Comcast?
No, they're not. Thank God.
Because
But
Spectrum
they're
has their own wireless offering too,
yeah. You mean
which
they're
runs on Verizon's network. They're
well?
$40
They don't
a
want to
month all inclusive.
they don't want to reinvent the wheel, and Verizon probably courted them and got them to do it.
Oh yeah, and I
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
it is a little cheaper than what if for 4 users it would be a little cheaper for us to go with the Spectrum system.
Yeah.
But I just don't know, and supposedly it's on the same network as Verizon.
So does
But
that mean that the same phones will work?
well, yeah, I mean it would be um, same technology. So the question is though, is there anything about it that you would find lacking? Like I need really good roaming when I'm
I
up in
don't.
Alaska in the summertime. The Verizon network is excellent in Alaska. I mean, I can get really high speed on almost any highway. It's just a really good system. So people that have AT&T up there, it works, but it's more spotty. So I don't want to go with Spectrum and find out that there's something lacking about because here's the thing is that Verizon, to have that good a network up there, they're building out infrastructure, but they're working in conjunction with other carriers to bring you a better network. When you go up there, they actually send you a text message because of where you are, turn on roaming because anywhere you roam up here is going to be included in your service. So interesting.
I wonder, anybody pays for roaming anymore? Anywhere?
Maybe not in the United States, but be careful when you travel.
Talking about Verizon. Verizon has announced plans to turn on its 5G mobile network in 30 U.S. cities this year. This is really 5G. We're not talking about the AT&T 5G. It revealed the plan during an investor meeting Thursday of last week, though didn't disclose the list of cities. It says Verizon already offers some broadband service via 5G in Los Angeles, Houston, Indianapolis, and Sacramento. This month, it hinted at upcoming rollouts in New York City and Atlanta, as well as Metro, Massachusetts, suggesting Verizon will bring 5G to nearby Boston too. So the provider plans to flip the switch on its mobile 5G network in the first half of this year, and it will expand its home 5G service to more markets later in 2019, which is nice. One of the first phones to support Verizon nascent 5G network will be the Samsung Galaxy S10 5G, which was unveiled yesterday at Samsung. This was 2 weeks ago. Unpacked event. The device has a larger screen and battery than the S10 Plus and will temporarily be a Verizon exclusive before expanding to other carriers. So 5G is coming. Slowly, but it's coming.
Did they say in the article whose technology they're using?
No, but the only word here that mentioned it, what is it? Nascent, whatever. Verizon. What is nascent? I never came across that word.
What's the word?
NASCENT. Support Verizon's nascent 5G network. I don't know what.
Probably a brand name that
I don't know.
they put on. Ascent 5G.
Yeah, it's the nascent. It's lowercase, so I don't know if that's, but it's NASCENT.
The word is nascent.
Nascent.
It means that it's something that's just coming into existence and beginning to display signs of potential.
Oh, okay. So it's highly, probably.
It's new.
Well, it's still an evolving standard too. So
So
Not
they didn't want to say alpha or beta because everybody has a connotation to it. So they started using nascent. Okay. We're
Nascent.
learning English here today.
Nascent. Nascent, you said, Mike? It's pronounced nascent.
The A is long, nascent, like
Nascent.
nativity, nascent.
Okay.
it's funny. I heard you when you said it. I thought you said NASTEN. So I looked that up, and there's a Dark Lord called Nastin, Destiny Soldiers online gaming. What?
I would have said nasty.
Yeah, that's it.
Verizon's
as long
nasty
as it's
5G.
not Highway or what's the other company in China that's developing 5G? I can't remember the other name. As long as it's
Huawei.
not their technology with the built-in surveillance,
Yep.
you don't have to worry about hacking into it. It's already built in, so makes it that much simpler. The throughput is much better for people who are surveilling you. It's there's definitely a benefit. I'm trying to. I was just did a lookup on 5G frequency assignments and overlap because there was some controversy over how it overlaps with certain weather radars and other things, and I don't know how they're dealing with it, but there are some questions about how they apply the frequencies. Now you'll be able to take your leftover food and just set it on the windowsill, and it will warm up automatically.
Sure. There was also a store. I didn't save it. Not part of computers and stuff, but they were saying that some countries said that for $200 million, they can start reversing global warming. Some scientists. I think
that will blow the whole industry up. That's not good. What is it? They hire a crew of people that go around and cut the cable.
No, it was serious. It was a serious thing. I couldn't. I don't remember. I mean, I read it last week, and wow. Hey Mike, for your crypto show, there was a story here. It says Koinomi wallet app sends user password to Google's spell checking service in clear text, exposing users' accounts and their funds to man-in-the-middle attacks, during which attackers can log passwords and later empty accounts. The issue came to light yesterday after an angry write-up by Oman-based programmer Warith al-Mawali, who discovered it while investigating the mysterious theft of 90% of his funds. He says that during the Koinomi wallet setup, when users select a password or passphrase, the app grabs the user's input inside the passphrase text box and silently sends it to Google's spell check API service. Koinami, which offers a multi-cryptocurrency wallet app for Android, iOS, Linux, Mac, and Windows, did not respond to the request for comment. Why would they need to send the password to Google's spell checker?
So I'm guessing he
Beyond me.
tested this on Android,
Well,
and the feature is probably a feature of the keyboard, but in order for things to stay private, then you need to mark the field as a password field or something like that, and they probably didn't do that. That's my guess. Like, design-wise, I'm thinking why that something like that would happen, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just a plain text field, and with cryptocurrency, the seeds are usually very long strings, so they probably don't hide them automatically, and so they didn't unhook it from security or something. Sounds like a stupid mistake, but somebody already
Got hurt.
made use of it. Not only identified it, like,
But
the
I'm
guy who
trying
complained.
to figure out why send anything to Google spell check when you put your name, your address, your user ID, your password. I mean, you make it up. What is a spell checker going to help?
No, you're thinking in terms of the Koinomi developer.
Yeah.
I'm talking. It's not even Koinomi. It is it's the Google keyboard.
Right.
While you're typing, and the field wasn't categorized as "don't spell check." It's just a simple checkbox, right? Or a simple field. When you develop it, you need to specifically say this is. By default, everything will be spell checked by the keyboard because the keyboard wants to be helpful, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like opted out instead of opted in.
Something like that. And the developer didn't opt out, and so
So it's
depending on the
doing
keyboard
it.
you're
Yeah.
using, everything is going to the spell checker.
Yeah.
Even if that's true, I mean, if what I'm thinking is true, then that is it's not a good attack vector. So when you're planning a hack, when you're planning to hack a certain site, a certain source of information, right? Then you're looking at what attack vector will bring you the most high quality data. And so you go on something that you will reliably know that that will bring you that. For example, for a while, right, Internet Explorer was the best attack vector because everybody was using it out of the box, and so that was the first thing to be attacked. When the market segmentation started with browsers, before that it was Netscape, of course, right? But when the market segmentation started and more secure browsers came in, Chrome was built for security in the first place, so it was very hard to attack. So the attack vectors moved to two very common things that will always be run the same way, and that was PDFs, because Adobe Reader was the major PDF reader, and it could run JavaScript, and Flash, which was on every single browser, even if it was like written for security. Flash itself ran in its own process. So this is the same thing. I don't know if targeting the Google keyboard, right, would be that efficient, because most application would not expose their password through it.
No. Okay.
I wonder about that news, the news about it. If it's like just somebody picking up on some noise, or it just went viral because somebody just showed some data.
Well, it made it out there. So,
Yeah.
hey, Mike, do you want me to get the developer name for you? I hear you're looking for some app development.
I don't know. I'm looking for somebody to work cheap. Might be cheap enough.
That'll be cheap, but who knows what's going to happen?
I'm going to end up learning to do it myself before it's over and done with, since I don't have anything to do with my time.
Yeah. It's it's something new, and Mike was going through some airing the other day, and you try to find a good developer, and either, but what is it, Mike? You found out that they are a one man operation, which is okay if they
Oh, that's
doing it
that's
for.
an app. That's something different. But the whole business of this particular app I was looking for, most of the developers are living in their mother's basement and working at McDonald's from 8 to 5. Not that there's anything wrong with working at McDonald's.
What about having remote McDonald's workers? You can sit at home and have a screen and be the face of it at the store.
I got to
You can
tell
just
you, I'm getting used to their kiosks.
I've been doing that in airports now, ordering food at the kiosk.
I mean, when I go up to Sheetz, I eat at Sheetz every week or two just because they've got a real good deal on hot dogs and they're good and they're not so big that they fill you up and they're cheap. And I mean, I go in there and I can fly through that thing in 10 seconds.
Have you do you belong to Costco?
Yeah.
Have you eaten at the Costco kiosk now at the snack bar? That's
Sure.
great too.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Although the one at Sam's Club is better.
Yeah, I don't have Sam's anymore. But yeah, I like Sheets. I mean, but there's a great competitor out there now. They're not quite there yet, but the QT stores.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, it's a Sheets competitor. It stands for quick travel or something like that.
Yeah, they've got some things they need to get control over, but
Puts you right on the food.
well, the problem is some of the stuff they've got in there is some of the food items are way overpriced. I mean, you can get 2 hot dogs with tax for $1.96. I mean, with chili, which is an adder and all. I mean, it's just a real good deal if you eat that sort of stuff. You go and get just a regular hamburger and it's over $5. A cup of French fries is $2.99.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I'm with you. The hot dog deal is a good deal.
Yeah.
And they have some wraps that are pretty good.
Yeah, but they're pretty expensive.
Yeah. Well, the last few times I've eaten there, it's been reasonable. I don't remember whether it was a special or
Well, let's be clear. If I'm going to eat in a gas station, I'm not looking.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not a bad atmosphere for a gas station.
No, if you go, they've got a little
Yeah.
room that you can go sit
Yeah.
in there, and sometimes they got CNN on it, which will make you lose your
Mhm.
appetite. But a lot of the times, it's Time Warner's crap.
Crap. Here's another interesting situation, kind of like from the political. Free speech social network GAB, which we use and recommend people use, has launched a new comments platform, Dissenter, which allows users to make comments on every single website on the internet without fear of censorship or banning. The Dissenter, that spells Dissenter platform, which integrates with GAB as either a website or a browser extension, allows users to comment on any web page in the world with the ability to upvote, downvote, and reply to other comments. A free open source utility that allows people to dissent from orthodoxy and express what they are really thinking without fear of reprisal is essential in order to wrest control of the internet and public disclosure from Silicon Valley giants, said Andrew Torba, the founder of GAB.
It's
Yeah,
it's it's remarkable that their plugins are still up there because
yeah,
people were saying that thought that they would pull them down
that they
right
would pull
away
them down.
because
Yeah,
Chrome and Firefox and so on would not allow them to have those plugins. I actually signed up for it.
yep.
I haven't used it much, but it's a great idea. And now they're saying like places where they turn off comments on the web page, now you can make comments.
Yeah,
And it's not under the control of the web page at all. It's just a separate service that lets you with the plugin view. It's really a good idea. I mean, it's really
There's
Andrew.
nothing new about it, by the way.
no, but I mean, it's just it's getting the attention because it's GAB.
Yeah.
And just timely now to pull it out. So
So I don't know if you guys know about Genius. Genius they're mostly known for lyrics and lyrics, basically for songs, but their plugin, their browser plugin, allows annotation on any web page. So they have, and that's been going on for years. It's just probably because it's a different audience, then this one is grabbing some attention. So,
Well, the whole idea is to grab attention,
no,
so people will know about these. But Andrew was saying also, he's saying Gab.com and Dissenter.com lead the way in keeping the internet free. All people are welcome to use our products to express themselves freely. So Gab has been struggling. They've been banned and kicked out of their hosting a few times. Their apps.
Their credit card processing company dumped them. Yep.
So finally, it seems like there's some stability there. They found a way how to do it, and it's good. And it's a good resource.
If you follow some of the conservative news stories out there, there have been large scale banning now of on Facebook and other platforms of it's like they called it the 100 list. And how they found the list, some whistleblower put the list out there, and sure enough, over time, all those people on the list are getting dropped or being severely curtailed on with their activities, losing like users and followers just disappearing, posts disappearing, and we don't know what's going on. It's just a glitch.
Yeah, just
But
a glitch.
it's funny how it just happens to be following this specific list that was leaked.
Yeah.
I like the approach though. So my problem with Gab was that I didn't find myself connected to it in the same way I'm already connected in other social media, right? And I couldn't find myself like reaching out again and again and again. But as a browser extension where comments are for that page, I wonder if it'll pop up in some way and say there's some new content here you haven't seen or something. And if that's the case, then maybe I'll be exposed more and I'll get, it's something to pull people into the network.
Yeah, to get people to participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting twist. That's a good idea. Let's see how it works.
All right. Anything else, guys? Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Going once? Going twice?
You can send me cash contributions through several different sites if you choose.
To where? To keep.
Oh,
Well,
I'm,
how
I'm
did
being
did-
facetious. If I really set
how-
a
yeah,
site, I'm
how
afraid
did-
somebody might
how-
actually send money. I don't want to do that.
how did Jim Duffy used to say? Keep Jim in the Green Foundation.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. To keep Jim in the Green Fund.
All right. Well, it's that time of day. It was fun. It was good.
Oh, I'm going to see that Peter Jackson movie about World War I today. I've been wanting to see it now for weeks and haven't had a chance, and I'll report back on the technology that they used to create this video or the documentary, which is supposed to be amazing. They do an actual after show. You go to see the movie and you stay, and then there's a half-hour show about the technology they used to take the old film clips and digitize them, and then they dubbed in voices over the top of the new colorized film to make it have a whole new experience.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be fascinating. He's going to be doing other subjects too, using this new technology.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. Well, thanks, Spence, Mike, Gal. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Tonight at 7, Nick Craig hosts Against the Norm, and it's probably going to be a very good show since he just came back from CPAC. And at 9, Mike Phillips hosts the Crypto Culture Show, both on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, and you can listen to it on TuneIn. And if you want to know how to get to the link, just look on the left at links. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.